Welcome to the Bedlam and Breakfast, or sorry, the Bedlam Breakfast. Uh, if you're familiar with pick-a-cards, just pick a pile or pick a card to represent uh, which reading you'd like to receive today. You could designate this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you've picked your card intuitively, go to the section of the video corresponding to what you've chosen. After this, there's a 30-second segment where I have a pick a card automated picker. So just pause the video through that sequence at some point in the sequence, and once it's paused at a selection, likewise go to the section of the video that it corresponds to. All right, first reading here at Bedlam and Breakfast. Let's set the tone by. I sense we should do a Taoist card. I haven't established what the theme of this is, so let's just do a general reading and see what happens. Then, after the accumulation of readings, I'll get an idea of what exactly the theme is between all 5 intended readings. Let's just cut this. What is our theme? Oh, I pulled that weird. Why did I pull 2? Arousing and deliverance. It's interesting how these two have storms. Okay, there's some turbulence, and there is relief. It's like the storm is bringing forward the rains which is needed in this barren land. So let's leave these here for a hot minute, and let's continue forward. I need to expand on this because it's very interesting. This is like a wake-up call, but the wake-up call is giving relief. It's like, oh gosh, I'm glad everything's resolved now. Or at least free. It's liberation. Power shift and liberation. That's very interesting. 51 and what's this? Future love, finding new love. Wow. That's interesting. Actually, let me show you this real quick. Let's see if this is going to focus. Yeah, so if you want to pause the screen, see what this is, get a closer look. And then I'll show you this one. Again, pause the screen if you want to get a closer look on the small text. And the future love. Actually, this is weird because I think this is a composition card. But yeah, that's weird. I realize there's compositions in here. Not exactly for reading. Should have taken these out. Must have shuffled them back in the deck. It's kind of funny though. It's like literally telling you that there's a new love. Yeah, no, that was weird. Yeah, here's the composition. I need to take those out, but I'll take it. It's unorthodox, but you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna I'm gonna leave this here. Okay, cool. Next, I'm actually gonna set these dice. Apologies, it's gonna be loud because I have a dice tower. These may not mean anything, but we'll be able to reconcile the message right after we get everything else going. Astro dice. Interesting. Aries. 10th house. And I believe this is the sun. I'll look at that in a second. Oh, some other dice. I'm only gonna pull like around 5 out of this. Not gonna look. Yeah, I had to just quickly mute my microphone while I was rolling that dice because I started to realize it was clipping. That's how how strong this dice tower is. All right. Now I'll pull some tarot. I'm not the biggest fan of Rider-Waite. I think it has a lot of great messages in it. But when you're drawing from channeling intuitively, you're better off having these open canvas of symbols rather than the minute details. But of course, those who are more experienced will be able to read the details, and in the amalgam of symbols, you'll be able to pull a message from them. My chaos, the one I prefer, tends to be an assortment, a variety, because Rider-Waite has very specific themes that unify all the cards together, which in the matrices of symbols, it works. It makes sense for the more experienced ones, but I'm not there yet. Ace of Pentacles. Let's move these aside for a hot minute. Let's shuffle a little bit more. I don't read reversals. It just gets complicated for me. All right, cutting this. All right, and don't read reversals. I think I have this upside down. There we go. Move these off to the side. Actually, I'm going to move these up here, since you already know that that's the Finding New Love deck. Or Finding New Love card, which I think is just bizarre. Reading so far. Definitely new opportunity. The Knight of Cups is on the realm of compassion. You see the cup that he's holding. It's an offer. Taking prosperity with him. Not prosperity. Prosperity is more of a coin thing. It's more like delivering hope, right? Because water, life giver. And Ace of Swords is great because it's really expressing and seeking your truth. It is the sword which leads the way, right? There's a level of righteousness to it. It emphasizes the symbol of the sword, its logic, its mental energy. There is a decision that's coming, or is currently being processed right now. And it feels like through this logic, through the decision, it is, you are leaving something behind. It's painful, but it's needed. And I love this cup, not this cup, this symbol here. Oh, you'll see in the text it says, fill your cup first, so you can support others. One of the reasons why I got this deck is, aside from just getting help understanding the cards, there are some phrases in here which are just fantastic and a great reminder of what people need to have in order to move forward in life, because we can get so stuck in past energies. And fill your own cup first before you can support others is something that I emphasize to people, because I myself have that challenge at times. Because let's say, for instance, I give so much. I'm very open, I'm very compassionate. I mean, I will even save insects in my room and release them out in the wild, because there's a certain point to when you start to destroy life. You know, just because it's a pest doesn't mean you need to annihilate it. So, you know, the same thing when you're helping other people. Sometimes we get so carried away because we are naturally giving. And we forget that we also need to be replenished. And when you're giving so much all your life, you forget how to replenish, right? Some people will be like, oh, I just need to relax, I need to disconnect to replenish it and go into that introversion energy. But that's not always necessary. That's not always the way to recharge, right? Sometimes you just need to be in a social space, be around people, but don't necessarily need to give, don't necessarily need to help. Just being present may be enough to help replenish you over time, instead of being proactive, trying to win friendships, win relationships. We don't always need to do that. And it's up to us in our own creative way to find ways of replenishing the energy from all the giving that we do and all the helping that we do. All right, let's continue forward. Four of Wands. Be ready to seize opportunities. It makes sense. The Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands share a theme of opportunity. The difference being is that this is opportunity manifest, and this one is more like the celebration. This is the going through the portal. This is going through the gateways. This is the celebration that is being sheltered. There is a foundation. There is a pillar to symbolize that you're there. This is the celebration one. This is very similar to Three of Pentacles, I believe. Three of Wands. Expansion, rapid growth. This is the looking towards the horizon, the frontier. My air conditioning is really loud for some reason. It's like it's struggling, even though I just changed that filter. Hopefully it's not too disturbing. Last card. Ten of Wands. There's a lot of wands here. Which is fine, but it's interesting how the last row is very foundation oriented. All of its fire, all of its action oriented. The way I see these three layers is interesting, because this is all feeling. This is all the process of thinking, the resolution, the surface level. This is more of the grounded, the earthiness, not earthiness necessarily, but this is like the tactical. This is the ground-based things you need to decide on, because all of this is forward. This is all foundational in a way. But between the celebration, looking forward into the horizon, and realizing all the work that is necessary to do it, and the variety of ways to do it, right? Because it's not just one wand, it's a whole variety of wands that you need to carry forward. This is what you can look forward to. This is what's promised. This is the higher level energies that are going on. And this is more of the grit, the work. Did this move? This was originally gluttony. Okay, so the virtue and vice dice. One says gluttony, one is anger. Gluttony is not necessarily about food. This is like gorging on something. Like you're just so immersed in the feeling, the catharsis of gluttony. It's interesting. I tried to figure out what is the difference between greed and gluttony. And for me, in my opinion, greed is just the acquisition of things. It doesn't mean that you're really immersing yourself in the experience, the gorging on the thing that you acquired. Gluttoning is the immersion, the deep dive into the acquisition of things, and just really the hedonistic experience. But not as hedonistic as necessarily as lust, because lust, it's the human energy. It's the primal human energy, right? It's similar to how bloodlust is the bloodletting, the wanting of carnage in a very macabre, very blood, very like I want to destroy some being thing. Whereas gluttony is like, in its static sense, you are just like shoving your face in the mashed potatoes and just loving the full texture, the experience, and then the embodying of it. I mean, if we want to do a vor is the fetish where you just are into the consumption of a thing, right? Typically, in illustrations, you'll see it as like a giant figure eating a smaller figure. It was really weird, but vorism is like a version, an exaggeration of gluttony. Then anger, of course, synonymous to wrath, is the total blind, utter annihilation of things. So in those two combinations, I can imagine that how it relates to this entire reading. The unifying thing between these two is that it's the blind feeling, not just the consumption, but just the essence of unlimited indulgence in a very consuming way, which is interesting. I see that as different from the other versions of vices. The anger and gluttony share consumption of a human primal sense, not sexual necessarily. It is it's a little devoid of sexuality. And these dice, if you see it, you got a shooting star, alcohol. You've got the alphabet blocks. You've got an alien, and you've got the sun. The way I would break this up is there is a foreignness to this reading. There is an external element that you may not be aware of that is affecting things. There is an energy, a sun energy. This goes with gluttony, the alcohol, shooting star, and I sense that you need to go back to basics. You need to go back to the recognition of the value of self. Rebuilding the basics of yourself. Because this upheaval, even if there is this reprieve, the relief after the fact, even if you see these new opportunities, you still need to build the basics. And the shooting star, wishes and hopes, you will achieve it. It does match up with the pentacle. And you have energy backing you. So even if you are affected by an external element, much which you may not have control over, even if you've tried to distract yourself in your vices, there is hope. And hold on, let me check something. Yeah, 10th house is the realm of prosperity, and you have Aries here. And I believe this is the sun. Yeah, this is fantastic. So you have the sun with sun. You have Aries, which at this point I have accepted as really being that emperor energy. So you are more in control than you feel. And even if you know that you're in control, and you are just kind of buying time and distracting yourself with distractions, just know that you're heading into great territory. You are heading into prosperity. If anything, it feels like you're in the middle of a tower moment. We didn't pull tower here, but like this feels like the tower moment, when the tower is getting struck by lightning. But I feel like this is either you're coming off of it and going into this realm of moving forward and away, and you're already leaving and you've already made your decision based on your truths, but you'd also need to recover, which is why you have these ABCs here, rebuilding. But this is coming forward. You are making the effort. I would keep going. Even though this decision was emphasized here, the difficult decision. Definitely stick to your principles, your truths. Restore yourself. There is so much for you left to do. I sense that the opportunity, the shooting star that you are, you need to emerge from all the negativity, the vices, the distractions that are keeping you from, or at least slowing you down. I do sense from all of this that you are inevitably heading in this direction. Just don't lose the energy that the sun gives you. Charge forward like an Aries, with all of the logic, with all of the principles that you have, with all the compassion that you have. And you'll find your victory. I don't sense love here, even though I pulled the love composition card. I do sense that because this says future love, you're actually going towards that. You need to do this. You need to evolve from this situation before a future love, a future connection, future relationship, future opportunity comes around. It's like this is the gateway. You have to get to this gateway first. See, it's like Pentacles. You know that there's an opportunity coming. You have to make that hard decision. And then once you've achieved that decision, the new love comes around. Or the new opportunity, new relationship, new venture comes around. The thing that really brings you the joy, the prosperity that you're looking for. Yeah, I'll leave it here. Feel free to screenshot, mull over the composition here. I think it's always worth looking at. especially since this is a timeless reading. With that said, thank you for choosing and watching, and hopefully I'll catch you soon. Oh, and if you like this reading, please like, share, and subscribe. I don't know about sharing. Sharing's kind of weird because this is a pick a card, and sharing kind of removes the random number generator, the independent choice that needs to be made for pick a cards to work. Anyways, yeah, I'm preaching again. All right, I'll catch you later. All right, pile 2, I believe, for Bedlam and Breakfast, or Bedlam Breakfast. Let's start with. So last pile I did my Taoist deck, but I think I'm going to do the Angelarium right now. Something's calling me to the Angelarium, so let's start with that. Heart and Beauty. So that is... Okay, that's interesting. I've never pulled this before. Let me just raise the card so you can get a better look at it. Now for Heart and Beauty, this does look rather alien, but then again, the realm of angels is otherworldly. It's not exactly beautiful. Heart and Beauty is very interesting, though. The aspiration to, or the embodiment of things that have the aura of beauty, ethereal beauty, but also heart. Let's just pull one card from here, asking for help. All right, let's put this here. Let me raise this up for you. Asking for help. You're being asked to request help from another. You don't need to deal with this issue alone. There are many people who want to help you, and it's up to you to bravely ask for their support. It's a sign of strength to reach out. Do that today. Oh, that's interesting. All right. You have... I have a feeling that it's not necessarily integrity, but I sense that there's this thing that you're trying to achieve, and it exemplifies beauty. It exemplifies the human heart, but I think you're trying to do it alone. And I sense that you're struggling, and that's why this ask for help is coming up. Let me pull more cards out of this. Actually, let's do these dice. I apologize, the dice tower. This might get loud. FYI. Pride. Justice. Okay, cool. Pride and justice. So there's a bit of ego going on. Let's throw in 4th house. Moon. This is Taurus. This is having. Moon is the emotion. It's the drive. Yep, this is reinforcing. 4 is emotional security and home. So this could be dealing with something you own, a business, something foundational. It's stability. I'll read this further in a second. Let's do some additional story dice on here. Only going to pull 5 of this. I'm not really looking at what I'm pulling. Going to go 5 and then see where this goes. Let's move this further here. Where's 4? Here we go. Okay, and let's do some tarot. When I see other readers shuffle, I always look at how they shuffle it. I'm always amazed when someone can do the dealer shuffle where you get just interfolds in each other. I don't really do that. What I do when I shuffle is that I pull from the center and maybe a little bit from the back, and then I pull it upwards and then I sift it through. And I hope that just makes sense. Sometimes cards will pop when I do it this way, but I guess only if it needs to come out. All right. Ace of Swords, Knight of Cups, King of Wands, 4 of Wands, 10 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles. Whoa, what the hell? That's too many. Let me sift one more time. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, my lord. The entire bottom row are all major arcana. Okay. So, Ace of Swords. You have principles that you stand by. These are your personal truths. And this is something that you want to share with others. That's the way I'm reading. Anytime there's a horse, it's really just the delivery of a message. It's similar to how death has its own horse. It's this delivery of change. It's out with the old, in with the new. It's like a new beginning or an ending to things. But this, you have principles that you're trying to stick to, share with the world. Almost feels like a charity of some sort. But you're based on this, it's like you're trying to do it yourself. And if anything, you're trailblazing. And there's a lot of potential that comes out of it. But I think the major challenge is you're being surrounded by setbacks, whether done by people or circumstances around you. Some of it's out of your control. Maybe most of it's out of your control. What's fascinating is that between these two, between you having that celebration, that's this home, this establishment that you've created, it will culminate to something that is a legacy for you. A part of me feels like it's either an inheritance or there is an influence from someone else or some other people that you're trying to honor. And the way I read the top section is these are the surface influences. These are the strategy. This is the outer layer, the expression, the ecosystem. And down here, the way I read this is usually the earth, the grounding, right? And what's fascinating is that you have Wheel of Fortune here, you have death here, and you have strength here. Because you have that inner resolve. Even though strength is typically a Leo thing, there is a shared strength between all fixed signs. And Leo and Taurus share that. But the difference that I find here in this composition is that it points out to some sort of home foundation, family, something that is intricately tied together. And even if it feels like you're mostly alone, or at least that things are just so, like it feels like the world is against you type of thing, this will bear fruit, whether people appreciate it or not. I'm going to elevate these two a bit more. I'll do it this way. The Wheel of Fortune and strength go hand in hand when it comes to burning away the old, bringing in the new, at least in this. Even if you had inherited some sort of material, project, house, whichever, even if it's a blended family, blended company that you just established, family that you just built, there's a revolution to this. And it's a revolution not in the essence of you're logically trying to incite a change. Change is inevitable here. You're trying to bring about something that is beautiful. But because I sense that you may be trying to do this alone, that's why you're having the difficulties. That's why you're having this Ten of Swords experience. That's why you need help. That's why you need to set aside your pride, because that's the only way you'll find true justice in this situation. You can't do everything yourself. You're trying to do something, you're trying to launch something that is very important to you. You put a lot of heart into it. Even if things feel like they're going down, whether it's something that's revolving around sales or cooperation or results, you'll need to have these conversations with people. You need to go outwards and communicate. If you don't have anyone around you to really help you out, at least in a social, like immediate space, go online, find some sort of help group, assistance. If it's business oriented, call a contractor. If it's love related, find a friend. If you don't have a friend nearby, make new friends, Try to set aside your pride as much as possible, because any major success is not really done alone. And you have this possibility, this lightning strike opportunity. It's one of those things where you have an opportunity present. You already know it. You're already engaging in it. You have what it takes to be a leader. You're following your heart. But the building of it, this beautiful thing, this thing that you're being tested, your character is being tested, you will find the resolution and strength, but it is going to cause you to have a rebirth, to become a new person. And you need to let go a bit of that pride to transform. Whether that's transforming with someone or with a group of people. Because that celebration, that success is there. 10 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands. Like that, it's going to happen. It's just, it's going to be rough. And if you're ever going through something rough, don't hold it in. Find a support group. I tell this to people I've mentored. I've told this to people who are either getting a job, running a business, even developing friendships. Anything meaningful, I feel, needs to have a support system somewhere, even if those people may not be directly involved with what you're working on or growing or doing, whether it's raising a family, finding love, getting a job, building an organization. Find a support group that is the infrastructure for you to fall back on, because we're only human. We have emotions. Yeah, that's I resonate with this somehow. I feel this. And I believe in you. I believe you can do this. You're just going to have to really express the big picture leader energy. And I feel like that is the message here, is the really asking for help. Like they really, this is what is critical for you. And the killing of the pride, and, recognizing that even if things are difficult, you'd be amazed with how just a random conversation with someone gives you the nugget of wisdom to carry forward. And what's coming to mind is, like, let's say, for instance, if I'm at a coffee shop and I'm just asking someone next to me what they're working on, and we start talking about the origin of their idea and, like how he does things, and then he'll ask me, or they'll ask me about what I'm up to, and just that conversation eventually could spark the thing that you need to move forward. And that person wouldn't know it, you wouldn't know it. It's just that suddenly it's something they say just helps. And I'm always surprised when I talk to people and something they say, as minor as it is for them, creates incredible impact for me. Whether it's just for the day, for the week, for a long period, anything helps. And we should all give it a shot. Take a little bit of that risk to let someone be the pep talk of our day. As strange as that sounds, but that's what's coming to me. For this, I think that's all you really need to know from this reading. If you like what you saw here and like what you've heard here, please like and subscribe. And I will catch you all next time here at Bedlam Breakfast. All right, you are pile 3. Pile 3. I'm getting compelled to this deck, the Taoism deck. I'm just short of really studying the I Ching. I have so many interests that it's actually difficult to study all these complex systems. And me being a systems thinker, I understand how overwhelming it is. And if there's any lesson to be learned when studying and practicing systems thinking, is that you really need to isolate what is necessary and learn from there. So for me, I Ching is great, but I'm glad that there was an Oracle deck instead of me just pulling yarrow sticks and trying to learn the hexagrams from there, because that was rough. You got this. Let's see, you have the creative, active yang principle, strength, tenacity, dynamism, inspiration, heaven, masculinity, authority, father. Okay, that's one. Let's put this here. And then for some reason, I need to pull from here. Card of surrender. You are being asked to let go of your need to control each part of your life and surrender to the universe. Control is an illusion, and it's exhausting to try to hold on to it. Let it go and allow yourself to enjoy the relief that comes from doing so. So far, I'm not sure if this is really the case, but I'm sensing a type of father or authority figure that this is the subject of. But let me keep going and see where this leads us. Actually, for some reason, I'm being compelled to this. I usually don't pull this many oracle cards in the beginning. I mean, I kind of do, but not really. I wonder why I'm being compelled to this. Ooh, okay. Raziel, Angel of Mysteries. So this is something knowledge-oriented. Knowledge and control, knowing too much of the universe. Let's roll some virtual dice. Dice, sorry, not dices. We got luck, lust. And you have charity. So, I need to explain my interpretation of lust in this context. So lust is, even though all the vices have really big similarities, they overlap. Lust is when you have something and you get pleasure from the having and releasing. Lust is that like intense urge to herbal, and releasing. It's like when you really just desire something. It is the vice of desire. More so than the hoarding of something like greed, or the immersion of something like gluttony, or the intense, blind, unthinking rage like anger. Lust is really the yearning, the wanting, having, and not really appreciating it thoroughly. It's just really the desire. It's almost reminiscent of, let's say, for instance, a love addiction, right? When you're more addicted to the concept of love than to truly be in a responsible relationship. And of course, we have charity. Charity is pretty obvious as to what it means. It is it's the giving of whatever it is you have of value. So while we have this running, let me actually roll some dice here. So what's the Astro dice? The moon. First house. And Gemini. Okay, so let's have that going. Then we'll have our little picture dice. I'm going to shuffle around a little bit. I don't look at it when I choose what I'm going to roll. I need 5 of these. It's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Lightning bolt. It's just like an idea of some sort. No. It's like it's like an instinctual thing that happened. Parachute, escaping something. Launch, just trying to get away from something. The fish bones. It's like, I'm sensing poverty from this one. And you have sadness. Okay, so let's get into the tarot. There's some complex themes in this one. I already shuffled this deck a good chunk of times, but just do it a little bit more. Oh my I remember watching a reader earlier, and they were shuffling so much and so fast that just a whole bunch of cards exploded onto their table. And they still read through all of them, but my God, that's got to be a scattershot of a mess for messages. But some of the more experienced, more confident, more skilled workers of tarot, they can handle the chaos. Because after all, we are playing with a bit of chaos when we're divining through what otherwise could just be things people just don't care about, right? It's the intuition that helps sort through the confusion. Okay. All right. So, first card, 3 of Swords. Second card, 7 of Swords. That's a lot of swords. 2 of Swords. Okay. There's some really hard truths happening here. 8 of Pentacles. 6 of Swords. 5 of Swords. So let me try to discern what's happening here. Because I'm sensing a struggle here. But it's a struggle where the struggle already happened, and really now it's just like picking up what's left. Because I'm looking at surrender, and even though this I Ching is talking about inspiration and authority and father figure and strength and tenacity, what I'm sensing from this is the word role model comes to me. I initially thought it was a failing structure, but there's something else. Give me a second. So I'm going to read through here first. 3 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 2 of Swords. This is the strategic layer. This is the outer layer. This is like the heaven layer. You're trying to stick to your principles at your own peril, but basically it's better to live with the truth regardless of whatever happens. And you're trying to watch out for any sort of deception at play. And at the same time, your inner voice, your conscience, is recognizing the difficulty of the situation. So triangulating these 3 together, you're living through your truth despite the detriment of it. And you're also watching for people trying to outsmart you or backstab you. And you're using your inner voice to navigate several of the hard choices you're about to make, or that you're making right now. Balancing work and play. Be aware of what you take with you. And ultimately, sometimes the victory is not worth the cost. So, yeah, this is like a Pyrrhic victory. It's like no matter how much you do and you're balancing things out, there's a struggle here. And it's like, it feels like the cards are stacked against you in a sense. And that even if you win, even if you are righteous, even if you are the most honorable one in the end, it's like winning is... It feels like winning sucks. Because even if you're watching out for someone to backstab you, it's still gonna suck in the end. I sense that this feels like you're in a corner. All right, let me pull through more cards. 5 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, 4 of Pentacles. Okay. So if this is the earthen layer, this is more of the personal layer. So 5 of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, 4 of Pentacles. Let me move this up a bit more. What's fascinating here is that even if you do end up getting screwed over, or even if you win and you just like lose reputation or lose face or whatever it is that you're sacrificing just so as long as you stick to your principles, you're really asked to go with the flow, take it as it comes, like fight things off if you as you need to, but just do it. You have principles, you have tension, you have things that may not be working out for you, but it is asking you for you to stick it out and to learn something in the end. Because beyond the situation, and as you learn through it, the Wheel of Fortune tells you that have you're going to grow from it, and it's going to be significant to you. It's going to be foundational to you. But it is also asking you to, as much as you're trying to savor your victory, that's really your ego is talking. And it's funny because if this is really defining your ego, in some ways it's asking for an ego death. And you can kind of look at this as the old multi-layer id, ego, super ego within the circle of the creative as a structure. And this actually gets reinforced with the first house, Gemini, and the moon, because there's an emotional component to you wanting to be firm in your foundation. Even if you're doing this for the greater good. There's something dire about this. There's something very desperate about this because this is like a flashpoint. This is a situation that could be a turning point for you. There's a parachute, so it's something that you're trying to resolve, get out of. This feels more like an escape parachute. It is a launch point for sure, but it comes at the cost of a foundation that's very, not just desperate, but like destitute. Destitute as in it's just very poor. Like you're losing so much from it. Like this Pyrrhic victory, it resonates here, and it's sad because like emotionally, I don't sense you're going to be. It's like even as you win emotionally, it's just so messed up. But at the same time, you're able to. You need to do this, actually. You need to push through. Despite all of these influences, all these challenges, and to salvage what else you could out of the situation, your standards, what you learn from sacrificing for your standards, will only refine you. In Masonic practice, we strive to look at refining the individual, refining one's character. And whether you're inside or outside the organization, that is the principle that's being emphasized here, is the refinement of the individual. So as you fight for what you believe in, know that the lessons you learn from it is what's important. What you build as your future foundation is what's important. And it's funny because what this is asking you, the surrender, is the lesson of knowing that you can only fight this for so long. At some point, you have to really just let go and find the relief for the conclusion for what it is. Don't just keep fighting this war. Fight the battle, recognize what's left, take what you can with you, learn from it, and then move forward, because beyond the challenge, beyond the conflict, you still have great things in the horizon because you have great learnings. There's something about you that I feel is very thinking oriented. Gemini is very thinking, all air signs. have a thinking component to their existence. That's, if anything, these swords are air oriented. And you're going to learn something much further and beyond once you kind of allow your principles to hit the wall, for it to get scuffed, for you to just get what you can and depart or just move on from it. You will transcend the situation. Yeah, and with dynamism, inspiration, what compels you to go through all this? I see these two as stages. Like, this is what's compelling you through the situation. The essence, the yang principle, the dynamism, the tenacity. Like, it's pushing you through the difficulty. And Raziel, Angel of Mysteries, and the Wheel of Fortune are what greets you in the conclusion and resolution of this challenge. What I enjoy about this reading is that there's a balance. It emphasizes that there is a problem here, but even if your surrounding, even if your environment has failed you, even if the situation failed you, you didn't fail yourself. And you become a better person beyond this circumstance. But it is emphasized enough that that is the energy I'm picking up from you. I'm not very clear how lust factors into this. If you're doing this because of another person, if it's just to feed your ego, perhaps that's potentially a consideration, is that you're doing this to feed your ego. Of course, ego is just as temporary as desire. And to consider that perhaps this is what you're burning off through this process, is this lust, this satiation of your ego. If this resonates with you, just leave it in the comments. Give me some feedback, because I'm very curious how this small element, the only connection I see is when it comes to the ego. Otherwise, unless there's another person involved, this seems like more of a you thing, which is emphasized with the first house, which is the ascending house, which typically is like associated with the individual. Although, let me double check to make sure I'm not talking out of my butt. Yeah, self-house is the self, the appearance, the body's first impressions and identity. Yeah, so yeah, it is the self. So yeah, beyond that, that's all I can really pick up right now. Any further thoughts? I'd like to hear updates from those who've picked this pile, or have just been random into this pile. Let me know what your story is. I'd love to get some context from people's journey, to see how they intuited into this and how this has affected them and the results therein. So with that, thanks for checking this out. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you later. All right, pile 4. Let's see. I am compelled to pull from the Taoist Oracle. As of this video, everyone is new to the channel. There should be no one that has come to this channel before, because this is the first video. So welcome. Welcome to my shenanigans of Bedlam Breakfast, the channel that celebrates the divination through chaos and touches on systems thinking and the way it's applied through divination practices, because divination is its own system. Ooh. Let's start this off with the receptive. Oh, that's interesting. This is the opposite of the previous pile. This one is the yielding yin principle, devoted, patient, supportive, obedient, responsive, intuitive, earthy mother. You can take a look at that card. This is what's considered the feminine. Though one I pulled in the previous pile, I believe this is previous pile is 3. They got the father. But I won't really go into that. You can check out the previous pile at your discretion. And then I will go here into the Mind Info Oracle cards. Ooh. I shuffled these decks a little bit beforehand, so that's why I'm not really serious about, well, I am serious, but not thoroughly shuffling them. I try to shuffle them in between each reading just to mix up the energy before I set to the next objective. Pulling one from here. Miracles. You're being asked to pay extra close attention to all the big and small miracles that have already occurred in your life, and also to those that are currently occurring and are still to come. Miracles surround you. Be on the lookout for them. I'm excited about this. Between the receptive, which is classically the feminine energy, the earth, the mother, responsive, intuitive, and you have miracles, I can already sense some magic. Let's pull from the Angelarium, one of my favorite oracle decks, just because the artwork is fabulous. And I don't remember if I bought the new version. There's like a sequel to this that is coming out or has recently come out, which would add to this collection. And if anything, maybe I'll create a super deck out of that. The card I'm pulling from here is, oh, Gabriel, the Angel of Heralds. Potentially a message coming your way. Oh, this is really interesting. I've actually never pulled this card before for the longest of time that I've owned this deck. So it's very fascinating to see this in play. I sense a message coming in, but I'm being compelled to the She Sirens Oracle deck. Yes, it is a sun, a moon on top of a vagina. If it's offending you, I apologize. It is just an oracle deck, and people should not be afraid of their genitalia or the genitalia of their opposite sex, because it's just genitalia. It's a part of the human body. And we each make our own judgment accordingly. I'm going to pull 2 out of here. Focus and direction. I'm going to put these on top of here. Focus and direction. You already know miracles are coming into play. Message. I'm going to roll some dice. Be mindful this might get loud. Fortitude. Temperance. The middle way, and you can handle some stuff. So it's resolve here. I'm sensing endurance, middle way, and resolve. 10th house. Oh, guys. I don't remember all these freaking symbols. Hold on. This would be... Oh, I think this is either Saturn. This is Uranus. And then the astrology dice, we got Aquarius. Oh, that's interesting. Aquarius and Uranus in play. Sudden unexpected. Uranus is sudden unexpected changes, rules of freedom and originality, radical ideas in people. Which, of course, with Aquarius, you get some of the same. And 10th house. Uh, 10th house, you have career, long-term goals, structure, status, reputation, public image, masculinity, experts' fame. So, 10th house, in simplicity, is mostly around career. All right, let's start pulling some tarot cards. Oh, wait, nope, gotta do the picture dice. This has helped me so far. Did the several personal readings. This was a miracle in play. Okay, wonderful. Let's pull some tarot cards. Yeah, I'm sensing this might be something around work in which these miracles are occurring, and just being receptive to those things. If you ever feel that you have any sort of blockages within yourself, like a lot of apprehensions, hesitations, bitterness, it will block miracles. And, you know, that's not helpful to you, especially when it comes to if you need a turnaround in your life. All right, let's pull. Actually, let me cut this in half. Okay. First card, Two of Swords. Man, there's a lot of Two of Swords in this particular pick-a-card group. Five of Pentacles, the Hermit, it's a Virgo card. Seven of Pentacles, Three of Cups, Queen of Cups. Okay, so I want to touch on the upper row first. This is what I call the strategic layer or the heaven. And Two of Swords oftentimes comes with towards inner voice, intuition, and that intuition making a decision. This visibly shows life isn't great right now, and that you're looking introspectively, you're reflecting. So intuition, reflection are the outer parts, or in the inner parts, and low resources, destitution, poverty, hardship is on the outside. And when we come to Seven of Pentacles, Three of Cups, and Queen of Cups, what I'm seeing here is that there is a lot of work that has been done. It's like you're working through, and you feel like nothing's really happening, nothing's really working, you're still struggling. There is a celebration, though, but you have to allow yourself to heal and to recover and to love. And what it's asking for is to really appreciate yourself. At this time, a lot of, like, if for people who are looking at astrology readings, like when you look at readings done by other tarot readers and it's according to your sign, a number of them have pulled the Temperance card in tarot. And we have the Temperance dice roll here. And what this means, a friend and I, Sasha, we talked about this. Temperance is asking for you to take the middle road in situation, nothing too extreme. And this could be a struggle because, you know, you're working hard, you're trying to figure things out. You're not necessarily trying to be slick, but you're listening to your intuition. You're doing a lot of reflection. It is asking you for you to reflect and appreciate, though, because Temperance is also about gratitude. And the Queen of Cups is someone that is not just intuitive or compassionate, but emphasizes healing, emphasizes the healing of oneself as much as the healing of others. Knight of Swords, Page of Swords, and the Magician. Fantastic. Okay, so with this part being of the earth, this is the heavens, the overall environment. This is closer to home, and this is localized. This is you personally. So in that reflection, and when you do appreciate yourself, when you find gratitude in the things that you already have, you'll find that strength. You'll find the impulse to move forward. And you notice here in this triangulation, Two of Swords, the Hermit, Page of Swords. It's asking for reflection. It's asking for navigating the inner self. Responsiveness from within yourself as much as the outside, and really tapping into your personal potential. I sense that it's really asking you to find your whole self, because the thing about the Magician is that for you to know the full force of what you're capable of requires you to do the reflecting. It requires you to reflect, make the decision based on that reflection. And when you're ready, you really will exemplify. So it's read it this way. Hermit, reflection. Two of Swords, recognizing that there is some challenges, there's some confusion, but it is asking for your inner voice, because you notice there's a blindfold here. So you're making a decision based on your intuition and weighing things. Temperance is asking you for gratitude. Queen of Cups validates the healing that is required. Don't forget to look back and reflect on things and your achievements. So there's a lot of parallels here. And ultimately, as you've culminated in the thinking process, you've come to take action finally, and thus you get the Knight of Swords, which is when you are fully prepared. And the spirit of all of that coming together makes you the Magician. This is the earthbound stuff, and it is asking for focus and direction. The miracles, the successes, the messages that are coming your way are going to be a response to your success in that inner journey. I find it fascinating that this creates a you in terms of the requirement of that journey. Typically, I read them in rows, but it's doing this. And because this is your difficult environment right now, and the culmination, the cup itself, is the success. It's like, imagine if this was a cup, right? And imagine it's half filled. And there are people who see the half empty part, and there's others who recognize the half filled part. And it's very fascinating how this is coming out. The 10, because it reflects on career, I'm really curious if this is dealing with, I'm not sensing highly about money, but if it's something that you're very passionate about, either it's a work or hobby, this is what it's pertaining to. And both the Uranus and Aquarius, it could be a matter of an intended revolution. It could be a matter of fresh ideas. It could be a matter of something that most people would see as eccentric or, out of the blue, but it's something you believe in. But it's going to require a lot of that inner work. And I think what makes this eccentric, which is very fascinating, is not so much something that you necessarily will be doing. The eccentricity, the irregularity that serves to your success may be something that you're not expecting. Now you have these dice here. you have this island, which to me either symbolizes a vacation, or that you're going somewhere, or that what this is pertaining to is a far off location. But there definitely is an idea that's in play. Something that's very meaningful, significant, something that stands out. And you have candles here. This could be either, for some reason, what's coming to mind is mentorship for some reason. I am not clear why these candles equip to mentorship, but something to keep in mind. The alien, which, it's funny, there's this stereotype that I remember hearing where Aquarians are both like aliens and or robots, because of how eccentric they can be. But the foreignness of the solution, the miracle, I sense it's going to be a happy surprise, but it's definitely not something that you're anticipating, and that you can ultimately rest easy. And when I started this, it felt very, very positive. So the concerns that you may have, I think, I sense that you already know that it's not as crazy intense, but it is annoying. But what you're looking forward to is definitely positive. It just won't be what you're expecting. I'm not seeing a tower moment, so it's not an upheaval. It's not a change of mind. And I don't sense that. I don't sense that it's something too much out of your influence, or out of, like, there's nothing that you can't already anticipate. It's just that this miracle, this thing that's going to work out for you, to really emphasize this Three of Cups inevitability and the miracle inevitability. It's going to, I'm really curious. So after you watch this, in the comments, I really would love to know how this works for you, if this resonates. Because even though this inner work is clear, I'm really curious what this miracle is. I'm really curious what the message is, and why this is outside of your expectation, and why this deals with work or hobby. How focus and direction connects to this. Focus, I don't sense that they're connected the same way. Focus is in the reflection part. Direction, I sense, and correct me if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, direction is involved with the miracle and the message that's coming into play, and your receptiveness to it. The miracle is the message, the thing that will happen, the thing that's going to come out of the blue. But for now, it is asking you to focus within at this point. So yes, that's all I'm really picking up right now. There's this lingering cloud of what is this message that you're, or event that you're going to experience, that's going to change the way this entire situation is operating for you. For now, if this resonates, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment to let me know how this works for you. And thanks for dropping by to catch me in action, because using all these tools is very fascinating, because it enhances the complexity of the read. But beyond that, I'll catch you guys later. Whoa, that was a weird situation. So apparently I talked for like 30 minutes over this read, and I didn't realize my OBS has frozen and it did not record. And quick apology, that was my central air, making sure that my house is at a steady 70 degrees throughout the winter. I already went through this entire spread. Some highlights to kind of quickly go over what's happened here. Um, my first instinct was to go after my Taoist deck. And to recap what I mentioned earlier when I initially tried to record this, um, I tried to use the yarrow sticks, which come with the Taoist system of divination, which is the I Ching. And I tried before to use the yarrow sticks, but I just got so confused. Even later, years later, when I learned how the I Ching works, there was just so many hexagrams that I needed to memorize to properly do it. But I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But at least I appreciate the I Ching. When I learned later that there was a tarot deck for it or a oracle deck, I was like, all right, let's just get this because I still value the system either way. Now, when I pulled some cards out, I noticed these two were stuck together. They were not stuck together because they were glued or something was sticky or just wasn't shuffled enough times. These two were actually kind of like they were just I don't know, just air compression, whatever it is. So when I pulled it apart, I couldn't like sense any static. Nothing was causing them to cling together. It was just normal. But these cards came together, and I then pulled. I did the same thing with the She Sirens Oracle deck, and these two were connected together. So I was like, okay, well then, another instance. This can't be a coincidence because I'm a big believer of synchronicity, and these two came out. And so I rolled some dice. So I got Fortitude and Lust. And a quick explainer to Lust, the way I interpret Lust is desire. It's something to have in great intensity, but not necessarily savor the way gluttony immerses oneself with the acquisition. This Lust is something where the desire itself is more intense than the actual experience itself. And ultimately, you just release it, right? The other dice I pulled out were this anger dice, this robot, the teddy bear, the singing face, and the sleeping moon. And then other dice that came out were the 10th house, which is revolving around popularity, reputation, career, Jupiter, and Cancer. When it came to the rest of the tarot spread, I pulled out the Six of Swords, Five of Swords, Wheel of Fortune, and this was the strategic layer, and this is the heaven layer. And to me, this is the earth layer, where these two are still on the surface. So Six of Cups, Six of Wands, and Tower. And when I initially read the top six, I sensed that you were leaving something. And you could stay, but, it just wouldn't make you any happier. And you were better off looking to the horizon, to something new, something different, a new opportunity. And then when these sets of cards came out, it's not like you didn't appreciate what was happening. You loved everyone around you. You were very grateful, and that you achieved a level of success there. And ultimately, what triggered this entire scenario was this tower moment. And I expressed that this reminded me of when I had one of my old jobs. Everything was fine, everything was great, but then when there was a massive change in the hierarchy in the upper management, that created a scenario where we hired this new person, and this new person, I initially tried to help them build their connections, reputation, and then they practically became more of a career monger. They were not doing their job the way I thought they were going to be doing their job. They were basically a clone of the new upper management, and that all that did was create a highly toxic environment in which I could no longer do my job with good conscience, and I rapidly left a few weeks later. And I was at that company for about 2.5 years at the time, and that's what this felt like. This entire upper part felt like that, where you've done a lot of work, a lot of great work, and the scenario just was not conducive to you staying. It just didn't make any sense because things changed. The tower kicked in. Your mentality shift. You're no longer a part of the ivory tower. And this last part is the way I describe this is that this is like the underground river of the earth, unseen by most people, but this is something that you're already doing. So even if all of this is something everyone sees, this is what you're feeling. This is what you're doing, if anything. And I explained that you know your value. in this instance, the Hierophant represents you knowing your value. You know your principles, you're sticking to it. But it doesn't mean that things were easy. You were having sleepless nights. It was worrying you, it's stressing you out. And at the end of the day, you made a decision with both faith and confidence that you needed to move forward. And that's how this ties in. Before completion is, what is here? It's uncertainty, doubt and hesitation, loss of faith, unstable conditions, be extra cautious, and discord. And the other card here is companionship. It's friendliness, mutual respect, shared goals, interdependence, agreement, and strengthening bonds. And you have cosmic and you have courage. And the way I incorporated these two in this reading is the fact that this was not going to be an easy decision. Like any scenario, the ground is cracking and this icy floor is about to collapse into the sharp waters where you could just get stuck underground and you don't know where the surface is anymore. Like you could screw yourself. This was your fear. This was your hesitation. And companionship is you wish that things were still good. You still wish that there was others with you who could really support you. But at the end of the day, I feel like this is you by yourself on your own, grateful for others. And you achieved so much, but it's time for you to go. And I had some sneaking suspicion that this was a work read. It could be relationship, but I started to realize by looking through the extra dice that this really leans more towards work. And here's why. So 10th house is achievement, it's work, it's fame, it's prosperity, it's career. Jupiter is achievement. It's your evolution. It's your peak. And Cancer, I was expressing that the comparison I was making is that a lot of my Cancer friends are the mother hen type. They're not the loud ones typically. They're the ones that will, smile and you could sense the love that they have or the compassion that they have. So they're the ones who will speak second or last, but they will show through their care through their actions and their compassion. And this was further magnified by this robot. Basically, it's automation. So you could have been removed from your situation or position due to the way things are, the tradition of things, or even artificial intelligence or AI tools replacing your job or moving you out. But and that's why I placed it here, because it forced you to be aware of what you take when you leave behind. It's just the influence of work, this situation. And it doesn't mean that you didn't have fun. And, you did sing praises. You were outspoken. You were appreciated and everyone knew you. But it doesn't mean you weren't, ticked off from the entire instance of this tower occurring. And I mentioned that you were having sleepless nights, but as it transitions over to the Wheel of Fortune, that's where, you'll be able to rest easy like this happy little moon guy here. And I looked at the bottom of the deck, and I got 10 of Pentacles. And 10 of Pentacles is the highest achievement when it comes to what you're trying to, achieve. It's everything has come to fruition. You master all stages: legacy, inheritance, and culmination. And I would have to say, just congrats. Like it's you made a large step to get away from what no longer worked for you, and you're looking to greater things, right? Because the Wheel of Fortune, which in and of itself is just a massive pentacle, has so many opportunities coming your way. And even if you're no longer experiencing all of these good stuff, it's not like you weren't grateful. If anything, that gratitude is really a definition of your character, the success of your principles, the success of your beliefs. And because of this, because of your character, you're able to tap into that divine conduit, those opportunities. And that links into the cosmic, because now you're taking this leap of faith in a way, with that courage, you're participating in what the divine has for you next. And yeah, this would have been a 20-minute read, but because I had to basically sum what had happened due to the lack of the first recording, I hope this resonated with you. So yeah, and just want to reinforce that with fortitude, it just means that you really had to handle with confidence and character. And just this less is typically negative, but in this position, it's just this wanting something different, the desire for something more, right? You're not just going to sit around and just let this affect you. There's something more, and you're able to drive towards it. So yeah, that's all I'm sensing here. But if this resonated, if you like this, please like and subscribe. And for more, stay tuned the next time a video goes up. So with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.